Hi guys, this is AR, your host of this channel. It is lovely to see you again to my channel. Well, without wasting any time, let's dive into the story.
The alarm rang at 4:30 a.m. In less than 10 seconds, Ibrahim had already failed. His thumb slammed against the phone screen. Silence returned to the room. Warm blanket, cold air, dark ceiling. Then came the lie. Just 5 more minutes. But here is the strange part. 40 minutes later, he woke up with his heart racing because today was not normal. In exactly 14 hours, Ibrahim would stand on a stage in front of hundreds of students and teach them one thing: how to force your brain to crave hard things. There was only one problem. Last night, he had spent nearly 6 hours scrolling through meaningless videos. And deep down, he knew his younger brother was right.
Look at you! You are totally hooked! Master of the digital strings.
That sentence replayed in Ibrahim's mind while he stared at the ceiling. Not because it was cruel, because it was true, and that's where the real story begins. Not with motivation, not with success, but with the terrifying question: why does the brain crave what destroys it? Ibrahim kept asking himself that question while walking through the crowded streets later that afternoon. Rickshaw wheels stabbed the road, vendors shouted, dust floated through sunlight. But his mind stayed trapped inside one thought. Why did studying feel painful, while schooling felt automatic? And the worst part? He already knew what to do. Wake up early, study consistently, avoid distraction. Simple. So why couldn't he do it? Most people call it laziness. That's what Ibrahim believed too. Until an old bookseller shattered his understanding with one sentence: "You are not addicted to pleasure."
The old man slowly closed the book in his hand.
You are addicted to prediction. Silence filled the place completely. Ibrahim frowned immediately. That made no sense. And yet, something about the sentence disturbed him.
When you scroll, do you know what comes next?
No,
And when you study?
I already know. It's just work.
The bookseller noted slowly. Exactly. Then he leaned forward. Your brain does not chase happiness nearly as much as it chases uncertainty. And suddenly, everything became uncomfortable. Because Ibrahim realized something horrifying. His brain wasn't weak, it was trapped inside a dopamine casino. Every scroll carried possibility. Maybe the next video would be funny, maybe emotional, maybe shocking, maybe rewarding. The brain kept pulling the lever because unpredictable rewards create stronger dopamine than guaranteed ones. Slot machines know this. Social media know this. Games know this. And suddenly Ibrahim understood why discipline always felt dead on arrival. Hard work was predictable. Distraction was not. But here is where the story takes a turn most people never expect. Ibrahim didn't defeat distraction by removing dopamine. He defeated it by redesigning dopamine itself. The next morning, he created a glass jar. Inside were folded pieces of paper. Some contained rewards, some contained challenges, some contained nothing. And one of them changed his life completely. But before he pulled the first paper, something nearly destroyed the experiment immediately. His phone vibrated. One notification, then another, and within seconds, his brain began negotiating again. Check quickly, it will only take a minute. He can study afterward. Think about the brain is that it really sounds dangerous. It sounds reasonable. That's how people lose years, not through catastrophe, through tiny permission repeated daily. Ibrahim stared at the glowing screen, then slowly he turned the phone upside down. And for the first time in months, his brain became angry, not uncomfortable. Angry, his chest tightened, his thought became restless. The room suddenly felt unbearably quiet.
Enough.
The reaction shocked him because he finally realized the addiction was not to entertainment, it was to stimulation. And what happened over the next 7 days revealed something even more dangerous about the human brain. The first day felt unbearable, not physically, psychologically. Ibrahim sat at his desk staring at the upside-down phone like it was a lie. And in a way it was, because every app inside the device had been engineered by thousands of people whose full-time job was understanding one thing: how to trap human attention, which suddenly made his struggle feel less embarrassing and far more dangerous. The room felt unnaturally silent. His brain searched desperately for stimulation. Music, videos, notification, anything. But Ibrahim forced himself to study. Or at last, he tried. He opened the book, read 3 lines, and then reread the same sentence 4 times because his thoughts kept drifting. And this is where the most people misunderstand discipline. They think distraction means you don't want success badly enough. But the brain doesn't care about your goals nearly as much as it cares about efficiency. And scrolling had trained Ibrahim's brain to expect novelty every few seconds. Study offered none. No flashing lights, no emotional twist, no unpredictable rewards, just efforts. And effort felt emotionally flat compared to stimulation. That's why the second folded paper from the jar disturbed him. He unfolded it slowly. Leave the house immediately. He frowned. That wasn't a reward. At the bottom, smaller words were retained. Walk for 20 minutes without your phone. His first reaction was irritation, then suspicious, because suddenly he realized something strange. He was more uncomfortable walking without his phone than speaking in front of hundreds of students. That terrified him. And that walk changed something important. At first, his brain screamed for stimulation. He kept reaching toward his empty pocket instinctively, again, and again, like a phantom line. Then slowly, the noise in his head weakened. For the first time in years, he noticed things. Wind moving through trees, children laughing on rooftops, the metallic clicking of bicycle chains. Tiny details, normal details, things distraction had erased from his awareness. And that's why Ibrahim understood the hidden cost of overstimulation. It doesn't only destroy focus, it destroys presence. But here is where the story twists again. Because the next morning, everything became worse. He woke up angry, not motivated, not inspired, angry. His mind felt foggy, heavy, restless. And by noon, the temptation became almost painful. His body sat in the chair, but his mind kept imagining scrolling. One video, one check, one escape, and finally, he broke. 3 hours disappeared. Mindless videos, random clips, infinite scrolling. When it ended, Ibrahim felt hollow. Not dramatic sadness, just emptiness. Like his brain had consumed stimulation without satisfaction. And this is where most stories lie. This is usually where the hero suddenly becomes stronger. Real addiction doesn't work that way. Real addiction humiliates people quietly, especially intelligent people, because intelligence creates better excuses. Ibrahim sat there staring at the dark phone screen when his younger brother entered the room.
Ibrahim, what is it?
The words hit harder this time, because Ibrahim no longer had denial protecting him. Then his brother asked something unexpected. Ibrahim nodded weakly. Why do we act like the problem is the phone? Silence filled the place completely. What do you mean? His brother leaned against the wall quietly. When father died, Ibrahim froze instantly. The room suddenly felt smaller. You started using your phone differently after that, and suddenly the story was no longer about productivity, it was about pain.
You don't scroll because you're lazy. You scroll because
His brother
silence forces
continued
you to
carefully.
think.
You don't scroll because you're lazy. You scroll because silence forces you to think. That sentence shattered something inside Ibrahim, because deep down he knew it was true. After his father died, silence became unbearable. The phone became anesthesia. Noise, entertainment, constant stimulation, not happiness, escape. And suddenly, Ibrahim understood why motivational videos never changed him. Because he had been treating emotional pain like a productivity problem. That night, he returned to the old bookseller shop. The old man listened quietly, then finally asked, "What are you running from? Not what are you addicted to? Not why are you lazy? What are you running from?" And Ibrahim couldn't answer immediately, because some truths only become visible after silence removes distraction. Finally he whispered. When everything becomes quiet, his throat tightened. I start missing him again. The old bookseller nodded slowly, like he had expected the answer all along. Then he said something Ibrahim never forgot. Most people think dopamine addiction means craving pleasure. He pointed gently toward Ibrahim's chest. Very soon it means avoiding pain. Silence filled the bookstore. Then the old man added, "The human brain will choose distraction over crave almost every time." And suddenly the entire battle looked different. That was not merely a discipline problem. It was emotional avoidance disguised as entertainment, which explains something terrifying about modern life. Millions of people were not addicted to pleasure. They were addicted to escape. Escape from loneliness, escape from fear, escape from grief, escape from insecurity, escape from themselves. And modern life offered infinite escape, infinite scrolling, infinite noise, infinite stimulation. A civilization terrified of silence. That realization changed Ibrahim completely. He stopped trying to destroy distraction. Instead, he began rebuilding his tolerance for stillness. Every morning he sat quietly for 10 minutes. No phone, no music, no stimulation. At first, it felt unbearable, then uncomfortable, then emotional, then strangely peaceful. And over the next 7 days, something remarkable happened. His brain slowly became less reactive. The cravings still appeared, but they no longer controlled him instantly. And then came the biggest surprise of all. One morning before sunrise, Ibrahim sat beside the window, studying quietly. The city was silent. Cold air drifted through the room, and suddenly he felt something unfamiliar. Not excitement, not pleasure, something deeper. Peace. Because for the first time in years, his mind was no longer running. And that's when he finally understood the difference between pleasure and fulfillment. Pleasure helps you escape yourself temporarily. Fulfillment makes you respect yourself afterward. One disappears quickly, the other changes identity. 14 hours later, Ibrahim stood on the stage. Hundreds of students watched silently. He looked at them for several seconds before speaking. Then finally he said, "Most people think discipline means forcing yourself to work harder. But discipline is often learning."
But discipline is often learning how to sit still long enough to hear what you're trying to escape from. But discipline is often learning how to sit still long enough to hear what you're trying to escape from. I hope you can all find that peace.
The room became completely silent because deep down, everyone was running from something. And the terrifying truth is, whatever you repeatedly use to escape pain, your brain will eventually crave automatically. Not because you're weak, because the brain learns survival through repetition. That's why people become addicted to scrolling, some to fantasies, some to work, some to validation, some to noise. The brain simply asks, what removes discomfort fastest? Then it remembers the answer again and again and again, until the behavior becomes identity. But the opposite is also true. Every time you resist automatic escape, every time you sit through discomfort, every time you choose effort over avoidance, you teach the brain a new survival pattern. That is when hard things stop feeling like punishment and start feeling like freedom. Hope you liked this story. If you learned anything from this story, do subscribe the channel and leave a comment down below. Remember, thinking, listening will not bring anything unless you try and apply it in your life. That's all for now. See you next time.